Hello everybody, and this video was made because some of you asked for a brief explanation of the questions that were on the quiz from week 7. It doesn't matter, you have to think that it doesn't matter if you didn't get all the questions correct. The idea of these questions is for you to start feeling comfortable with the type of questions for the AP exam. The course will show you towards the end that all these questions are very important and they will become easier for you to understand. So for now, let's start talking about the first question. And the first question had a couple of things very important for you to understand, and is that every time that we multiply, add, or divide different data types, we will get a new data type. So basically, the most important thing is that an int number times an int will be an int, okay? A double times a double will be a double. Now, an integer number times a double, the result will be a double number, okay? Now, you can cast the numbers, but if you cast a number, if you cast, let's say, double p, okay, divided r, p and r integer numbers, then the result of this will be a double, okay? But if you cast the operation of p divided r, this will be an integer number, okay? So we have to be very careful when we cast, and the operations. Now in our problem, we had all of them were integer numbers, okay? All of them were integers, and the operations between them will give you an integer number. So basically, 5 times 4 would be 20, and 20 divided 2 is 10, okay, minus, and 5 divided 2, it's actually 2.5, but since it's an integer number, it will be 2. And 2 times 4 is equal to 8. Now 10 minus 8 will be equal to 2. Okay? So in this case, this is the correct answer. Okay, in our second question, sometimes you have to look at the ones that are really obvious. If you don't understand one of the statements, then you should look at the ones that do not agree. And always read the question carefully. Here, not is a very important word. So which of the following recommendations for testing software is not a good advice? Now from all of them, it is impossible. It is impossible to test a program with all possible values of input data. Let's suppose that you're asking for data from a user. Now, it will have infinite values to input, okay? So this is by far the one that it's not a good advice, because you can't do this because it would be infinite numbers, okay? This one is very important, like testing a large program using the ones that we have in smaller pieces, okay? Now, if possible, use automated testing procedures or read test data from files so that you can rerun the test after corrections. Now, in future weeks, we're going to start using text files with a lot of information where we can run a bunch of input information. Okay, so this is also very important, just using text files and importing them. Now, design test data that exercises as many different paths. Now, this is very important because you want the algorithm or the input to go through different paths in your program. That way, you know that every single line of code is working. And finally, testing for loops. It's very important to test for loops, okay, to see if you're off by one error. Remember that when you're creating a for loop, this error is very common. Okay, and question 3 is basically, this is a tricky question. Every time that it says the following code, read the following code, or after the following code has been made, read the question. And here it says, assume S has the value of world. So basically S is going to become world here, right? And 6 is going to become Y. Okay? Now the question is, what are the values of S and N after call changer Sn? And when you call changer, this is called parameter passing. So world and 6 go into the method, but now they turn into X and Y. Now inside the method, S and N are not modified. Okay? So it's a tricky question, and it will only take you like if you understand the question, it will only take you 5 seconds to write the answer. So S will continue being world, and N will continue being 6 after the call changer is made. Okay, and question number 4 is what we were talking about in question number 1. You have to be careful when you cast. Now, in order to get 7.5, you need either a double times an int or a double times a double. In this case, the only one, like these two are integer numbers, okay? So even though you cast it into a double, it will continue giving you an integer number, right? So in this case, the multiplication of two integer numbers will be an integer. Now this one, the number 3, all the operation is an int, right? So it doesn't matter if you cast it. Now in the first one, this operation here will give you a double. And a double times a double will give you the 7.5 that you need. So basically, 1 only is the correct answer. Okay, question 5 also talks about parameter passing and what happens when a variable is passed into a method. Okay, and basically we have n equals 12, and then we call the method using n. Okay, now we have 12 over here. Go figure 12. Now this value, we know that is n equals n remainder 7, which is basically 12 divided 7, and this will be 5, right? So this is the number that we get as a result of the remainder. It's not the division, it's the remainder. So we have 5. Now return the value of that 12 divided 5, right? Casted into a double. Here we have 10 and the remainder is 2. So, but since this operation is 2, it will become a double this way. So 2. And remember, n never goes back. This n that it's on the system.out.print line is the one that started in the first place. So we have 2 and the same n. So we have number 1. I hope that this explanation helps you with your future questions. I'm going to try to focus on the harder questions and the most difficult questions that you need understanding, and I will send a video. Okay? Have a nice week, guys.